guys, welcome back to my channel. I thought it would be fun to sit down and film an updated Q&A for my channel for 2023 going into the new year. I asked you guys over on Instagram to ask whatever, and we're gonna answer some of those today. So we're just gonna hop right into the video. The first question I have is advice for stay-at-home military spouses. So if you guys are new here, Adam and I got married when he was in the military. How long ago? Almost 8 years ago now. And he got out, gosh, 3 years ago? I can't remember, 3 or 4 years ago. So we spent almost half of our marriage in the military. And one of the biggest pieces of advice that I have is to just stay busy, make friends with other military spouses, and try and plan play dates. Adam was deployed over in Japan for a good portion of the first year of Bailey's life, and adjusting to becoming a new mom was really challenging, not having him there, but it also strengthened my relationship with Bailey tenfold. And I feel like it really solidified our relationship and the bond that we have today, because it was just her and I for 8 months. And we just did everything together, obviously. It was just her and I. We would go to the park all the time, to library time at the library that was local to us. We did play dates with other military spouses, and I just always tried to stay really busy. But I always, in the back of my mind, just really cherished that time with her and I. So looking back, I think I really looked at the situation more as a positive than a negative, because of the bond that we were able to form during her first year of life. So it was extremely difficult, don't get me wrong, but staying busy is probably the biggest tip I can give you guys as a military spouse. Next question, what did Adam get you for Christmas? My new boobs. That was my gift. We normally don't really do gifts for holidays. I usually get him like cologne and new pairs of shoes for Christmas. That's just like the standard. But that was my gift from him this year. What happened with Young Living? Nothing really happened. I stopped promoting it and sharing it and doing it as a business because the pay structure changed significantly. And I felt like I was being pulled in so many different areas with typically Blush, Instagram, YouTube, and then Young Living. I felt like something had to give. And since the pay structure changed so much, I felt like it just wasn't worth my time to continue doing it as a business. But we still use the products every single day. We use their laundry detergent, we use their dish soap, the kids use their shampoo and body wash, mainly Grayson and Tatum. I love their mint satin facial scrub still. I use that mainly in the shower if I'm like exfoliating my face. Yeah, there's lots of products that we still use every single day. I still get a monthly order from Young Living. Love their products, have nothing bad to say about the company at all. It was mainly just because something had to give. Did the kids only see Adam's family once a year? We only see my parents once a year, and it's hard. I think there was a point where they would visit a couple times a year, but they both work full-time still. So does my mom, which is why she's not able to come out here as much. And it's just challenging traveling with all 4 kids. I mean, we haven't even done it yet. To get on an airplane right now, especially with the challenges that we're facing with Grayson, I just am not confident in taking all 4 kids on a plane to fly back to South Dakota or to California. I would love to go back there and take all the kids back one day, but right now I just don't think it's the time. Maybe in the future, like hopefully in the next couple of years we can do that. So right now everyone has to come to us, and they're just only able to make it out here when they can due to work. So my dad is the one that you guys see out here frequently because he's pretty much retired, so he can kind of come out whenever he wants, but Adam's parents are still working full-time, and so is my mom, so that's why we don't see them as much. How do you handle losing a friendship that was once really close? I'm struggling. Friendships, going through breakups with friends is extremely difficult, especially for someone like myself that puts so much into a friendship. I sometimes treat my friends better than I do my spouse, and that's something that I'm working on, or I really want to try working on bettering myself at this year. I'm a people pleaser and I love going above and beyond for my friends, and so I put so much into my friendships, so when they don't work out, it's hard and it hurts. But I know that I am a really, really good friend, and I know that deep down, so that kind of helps me process the grieving period of a friendship not working out. So I think at the end of the day, if you can sit with yourself and have confidence in knowing that you put everything you could into that relationship, and you know that you're a good friend and you have the confidence in that, I feel like for me it was easier to process, just because I feel like I gave everything I could, and for it not to work out, it's just sitting with yourself and knowing and having confidence that you did everything you could do. And at the end of the day, friendships come and go. Thankfully, I haven't had too many to come in and out of my life. But like I said, I have confidence in knowing that I'm a really good friend, and if the other person can't reciprocate that or realize that, then that's when you have to just let it go and know that you did everything you could. Why did you decide to downsize TB / what are the new updates? So we didn't change anything with TB. I think I've shared this on Instagram too. We didn't downsize or anything. The only thing that we did differently is how we are handling the shipping process in the back end. So Adam now has been able to work from home, and he's home more, which was one of our big goals for 2023, is just having him home more, being home with the family and spending more family time. And we were trying to figure out ways that we could go about doing that and making that happen. So we still have normal launches every Thursday. We are still doing graphics. Nothing changed. The only thing that changed was how we're shipping, and that's all like back end stuff, so you guys don't see that. But we didn't downsize. There's no real updates. Everything is remaining the same with Typically Blush. How did Adam support you when you were going through your addiction? So I wasn't with Adam when I was in my addiction. I met Adam after the fact. I met him after I got out of rehab, months after I got out of rehab. But he did help me after the fact with like court stuff and driving me to and from drug tests that I had to do. So he was very supportive after the fact, but he never saw me like in the depths of my disease. So I don't know if that's what you're asking, but he took lots of time off work, like on his lunch breaks when he was in the military, to drive me to and from drug tests. He helped me a lot financially. And he was just there supportive mentally and emotionally. But yeah, that's another goal I have for 2023, is to write a book about my past. So I'm hopeful that that will come to fruition in 2023, and it will hopefully help you guys understand more about my past and answer any questions that you guys have. Next question, when and why did you move to Texas? I think we've answered this a few times, so I'll answer it again really quickly. When Adam got out of the military, he knew that he did not want to live in California, which is where I met him, which is where I'm from. He was stationed in 29 Palms at the time, and I met him when I was visiting Hillary. I went to stay with her for a little bit to keep her company while her ex-husband now was deployed to Afghanistan. I went to go live with her for a little bit while he was deployed. If you're not familiar with where 29 Palms is, it's like 45 minutes east of Palm Springs in California, and it's a very desolate town. There's not much out there. It's kind of a little bit sketchy. So I went to go hang out with her and keep her company for a little bit while he was deployed, and that's where I met Adam. And then we got married and we had kids, and he eventually got out of the military. And so we had to compromise on where we wanted to raise our family, since he didn't want to stay in California. And I was not opposed to leaving California, but we had to compromise. He's from a very, very small town in South Dakota, and I'm from California, big city, and we eventually compromised on Texas. We flew out here for a weekend to go look at houses and fell in love with like the first house we saw, made an offer on it, and eventually moved our family out here, and we do not regret it at all. We love it out here. I do miss like my family in California and the weather out there. Obviously you can't beat California weather, but other than that, I feel like it was a really good compromise. You get that small town feel with where we are, where we live now. And You get that city feel too, because we're like 30 minutes from downtown, 45 minutes. And we're just really happy. I feel like we've kind of blended the best of both worlds with his growing up and how he was raised and how I was raised and where I'm from. So would Adam ever reverse his vasectomy if you guys decided you wanted more kids? So Adam actually has some of his sperm saved in a sperm bank. That was our compromise when he got his vasectomy. Just in case we do decide down the line that we want more kids, we can go about it that way. I'm pretty positive we would go about it that way rather than him getting his vasectomy reversed, but we haven't even thought about that. So that's like years down the road, like 2 to 3 years. If we ever decide we want another baby, we have some of his sperm saved. Favorite restaurants and clubs in Vegas? I would say Omnia and Excess. Excess is like an indoor-outdoor club, so the vibe there is really cool. And our favorite restaurants are STK, which is like a really nice steakhouse. Beauty and Essex is really fun. The restaurant is in the back of a pawn shop. And the vibe there is really cool too. They have really good food. Everything on the menu is amazing. We've pretty much tried everything there. So love Beauty and Essex, and Tao is really good too. That's more like sushi Asian cuisine. It's really good, but it's more like high-end Asian cuisine. And the atmosphere there is really good. We're very into like the atmosphere and the aesthetic. And every single one of those places has amazing food and drinks. We really want to try Delilah, but it's so hard to get in there. That's one of the newer restaurants in Vegas. So if you want to get in there, you have to book it like months and months in advance. It's one of their newer restaurants and everyone's trying to get in there, but I heard it's really good. So we can't wait to try that. How do you handle the rumors and gossip you seem to ignore, which I commend? I don't look at it. I feel like I don't really get a ton of hate on my Instagram or my YouTube. And I don't look at the gossip forums or gossip channels. So I feel like it's just like out of sight, out of mind. So if you don't see it, it's hard to have a reaction, I guess. So that's just always been my philosophy. If you don't look at it, then there's nothing to see. Were you afraid to take the pain medication after your breast augmentation since you're a recovering addict? This is kind of a hard question to answer because I feel like not many people can relate to my past with my addiction. And without going into like a lot of details, okay, I guess I will. So when I was addicted to opiates, I was dating a dealer, and so it was really easy for me to have access to that, and it was very easy for me to get dependent on. I was in the lowest of lows in my life and met a guy who happened to be a dealer, and so I had it like on a silver platter. So whenever I wanted it, it was very easy for me to get it since I was dating someone that supplied it. So I got hooked on it very easily. My body became very dependent on it. If you know anything about opiates, it's very, very, very difficult to get off of once your body becomes addicted. And so that's how I got addicted so quickly, was because it was just in front of my face every day. And I hated it. I hated that life, and I wanted nothing more than to get off of it, but I could not do it on my own. So I needed help, which is why my family sent me to rehab. And so the second that my body was able to function without it, there was no turning back. That was like the greatest feeling of my entire life, was feeling that freedom of not having to use opiates in order to function. So that withdrawal period was enough and is enough to this day to keep me sober and to not let myself go back there. So with that being said, taking the prescription pills that I was prescribed after my surgery, I knew in the back of my mind that there was no chance that I would ever let myself go back to where I was years and years ago. I have way too much to lose today. Being a mom and the life that I've built for myself today, I would never in a million years jeopardize that. But Adam kept the control of my medication, and he was the one that administered them to me every day, and I was only on them for like less than a week. And that was that. Like I said, the withdrawal period of coming off of opiates before I met Adam in the depths of my disease is enough to keep me from never going back to that ever again. It was the most brutal thing I've ever been through, and I know everyone is different and not everyone can relate to that. That's just how I feel. That's how I look at it. But yeah, to answer your question, I was not ever worried that I would ever go back to having a hard time with opiates just because of what I just said. But Adam did control all of them, and that was that. So I'm not on anything anymore. I was on it for maybe 5 days or so, and then I just started taking Tylenol. What did you learn about yourself this past year? That's a good question, because I've been thinking about this a lot, and I talk about this a lot with my friends and Adam, but I am a people pleaser to a fault, and sometimes it gets me in trouble with the ones that I love the most. I need to work on standing up for myself and putting my foot down and telling people no. I have a really hard time with, I'm very empathetic, so I put myself in everyone's shoes around me, and when I feel like they're unhappy or X, Y, and Z, I do my best to make them happy and try and control the situation. I always put everyone else in front of myself. I always put all their feelings in front of my feelings, and it can hurt other people in the process, like Adam or my friends. So I know there's probably a lot of you out there that can relate to this, but I really want to learn more about how to not be that way. I don't know whether that's like therapy or what, but that's something that I've definitely witnessed, obviously firsthand, and I've learned about myself just from having different altercations with people in my life. It's very obvious that I'm a people pleaser, and I don't want to be that way anymore. I feel like there's a fine line and a really good balance that you can have with being a people pleaser and putting yourself first. And so I want to try and figure out how to achieve that this year. How did you lose so much weight recently? So I used to eat out all the time, like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it was really bad. It was like drive-through crap food. And like a few months ago, I made a pact to myself to stop ordering out, stop door dashing. I still door dash here and there, but I always make healthier choices. And I feel like cutting out fast food for the most part and making most of my meals at home has helped tremendously with that. And then cutting out alcohol unless it's like a special occasion. So we don't drink on the weeknights anymore unless it's like a date night or something. So cutting out alcohol, I think, is a huge contributor to my weight loss. But I've always had like a pretty thin frame. And this is the longest I've been since I haven't gotten pregnant. Usually by this point, I'd be like 3 or 4 months pregnant, maybe even more than that. So you guys have never seen me this long postpartum without having a baby in my belly. So I think the weight just like has gradually fallen off just after pregnancy and giving birth to Tatum, and then making healthier choices, obviously not eating out as much and then cutting out alcohol. I think all those three combined have kind of led me to where I am with my body today. But yeah, would you ever consider having another baby, or do you feel content with 4? I feel content with 4 right now. I feel like it would just be really unfair to Grayson for me to have another baby right now. I feel like it would be very selfish, since he requires a lot more attention. And and we don't know what his needs are gonna be years from now. So with that being said, I feel like 4 is a great number for us. We feel pulled in a lot of directions right now with all of the kids. So selfishly, I would love to have more, but I know that's not the smartest move, and so I just have to be really mindful of that. Have you ever considered doing the IG subscription thing? So when that first came out, I was very confused on what it was, but now seeing a few influencers use it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's more so beneficial to use if you have something worth value to offer someone. Like if you're really into cooking and recipes, and that's like your niche, and then you decide to put up like private recipes on your subscription for your followers, I can see that being beneficial. Or like if you're really into fitness and you share private workout classes behind the subscription, I could see that being really cool. But for me, I don't really see myself using it. I don't really see myself having anything worth value to offer you guys that isn't like part of my normal content. I don't know, you guys let me know. Do you guys like the IG subscription thing? Should I get into it? I don't know. Let me know. But I think that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.